Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a $500 gaming PC build that is directed towards playing Minecraft, and it's at a pretty good price at 500 bucks. It's only $100 more than like a PlayStation 4 or something like that. And you do get the full functionality of a gaming PC. And with 500 bucks, you do get good specs, so you can do like video recording, video editing also, because that goes hand in hand. And you can still, it's going to be a fairly powerful computer, so doing, multitasking and just day-to-day tasks is going to be no problem for this. And yeah, that's what it's really for. And the difference between a computer that's, a regular gaming computer for 500 bucks and one that's directed towards playing Minecraft is that in this build, it's going to have a little bit beefier processor in it, because if you look on YouTube and stuff when they're doing PC builds, generally they say to cheap out on the processor and put more money into the graphics card. I do agree with that. I think that's great. But when it comes to Minecraft, not so much, because when it's rendering chunks and rendering the map when you first create it and it's doing all that, it's very CPU intensive, and Minecraft itself is just extremely inefficient, to be honest. So it needs to have some CPU power there so it can continue to load without you having to sit there and wait for it to. So here we go. We have the AMD FX 6300 6-core 3.5 gigahertz processor. It turbos up to 4.1 gigahertz, and this is a great budget processor. For 100 bucks, you get 6 cores, and it is a fairly powerful processor. There's nothing to complain about here, and it's fast, and you will be able to play Minecraft just fine. So it works best with something like Optifine that'll actually use all of the cores in it. Because Minecraft itself doesn't use all 6 cores, but when you have Optifine installed, it does go for using more cores. So it can actually utilize this processor. So it's not required to use Optifine or anything like that, but it is recommended because you will get even better performance with it because it does take advantage of all 6 cores. To cool it, we have the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. This is a phenomenal phenomenal CPU cooler, and at 35 bucks, I mean, this thing cannot ever be beat. Well, it could be beat, but currently it is not. You can see it's got 3.3 thousand reviews, and it's got 5 out of 5 eggs on Newegg. That's pretty impressive, and I have actually owned one of these, and I put one in my dad's computer, and I owned a Cooler Master Hyper T4, which is basically the same thing. It just faces down inside the case, and all of those were just absolutely fantastic. And my dad actually has a 6300 processor, so this thing keeps it very cold, and it's silent. I mean, this thing is quiet, and it does keep the processor cold, and that is what you want to maintain good performance and possibly even overclock eventually if you want to. Here we have the Seagate Barracuda 500 gigabyte 7200 RPM hard drive. So 500 gigabytes isn't all that much. Well, it is if you're a console gamer, haha. But I went with 500 gigabytes because it is a little bit cheaper, although not much. I think a 1 terabyte is 52 bucks. So I think it's smarter to go with the 1 terabyte, but if you want to save as much money as possible and you aren't going to use all 1 terabytes of storage, then a 500 gigabyte is not a bad option. And if you want to upgrade eventually, you can always get another hard drive and have 2 hard drives in your computer. So if you wanted to get this one and maybe a 1 or 2 terabyte later, you could have those together and you could have 2.5 terabytes of storage or 1.5 terabytes of storage, and possibly even get an SSD as well to put your operating system and a couple games on. SSDs are very fast, obviously, so that is not a bad option. But I went with the 500 gigabyte just because it's cheaper, and it is not a bad option. Seagate makes great hard drives, in my opinion. I've only bought Seagate for my computers, and I've never had one fail on me, so I don't know. I think they're great. Some people don't. I personally do. Here we have the Gigabyte GA78 LMT Revision 6 AMD AM3 Plus motherboard. There's a lot there. I'm not going to read all of it, obviously, but I'll just show you the motherboard and talk a little bit about it. So here you have USB 3.0. Here you have your different display ports, but you actually aren't going to be using those because I put a dedicated graphics card in this computer, which I'll get to in a little bit. So these won't be used, but you have USB 2.0, a couple more USB 2.0, USB 3.0, your PS2 connector, because, and not like PlayStation 2, but PS2 connectors in like older keyboards and mice. I don't know why anybody would still use that. You have your audio right here, and over here is where you would plug in your SATA ports for your hard drives, SSD, whatever. And you have 6 of those, so you can have up to 6 hard drives with this board. So yeah, not too bad. And Gigabyte makes a really great board, so there's nothing wrong with this. It is a little bit smaller, but it does save money. You can always upgrade it in the future, but really I don't think there's a need to, because this is really basic. It gets the job done, and it even has USB 3.0. Pretty cool stuff. Here we have the Team Elite Plus 8GB graphics, 8GB DDR3 RAM. So 8GB of RAM is going to be great for gaming, especially because newer games are a little bit more RAM demanding. So if you need to have a little extra RAM, I think some games, I don't remember what it was. It either is, I think it's 4GB of RAM. If you have 4GB of RAM, I think it was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare that won't even open. Maybe it was 2 gigs. I forget. But yeah, having 8GB of RAM is going to be helpful for multitasking, newer games, and video editing. So right here, Team Elite Plus. I haven't heard of them until a few months ago, and I actually bought a set of 8 gigs of RAM. It wasn't this set; it was a little bit different. But I have a set of them, and I haven't had any problems with them. They don't stand out as super great, but they don't have any problems either, so I can't complain. Here we have the Rosewill FBM-01 Micro ATX Mini Tower Computer Case. This is just an extremely basic case, but it's $30. And it's for the money, it's a really great case. Now it is on sale for $30, but really I think that's been on sale for ever since I've heard of it. So it's I don't think it's going to be going back up anytime soon, although it is possible. So here we go. It actually looks like a workstation case, really. But let's go ahead and look at the inside, because it actually comes with 2 fans. You have a fan here on the back for taking hot air out, and then you have a fan up here for taking cold air in. If you want, you probably could put a couple fans here on the side to take air in. I believe that's what that is for. Maybe it's just a vent for being there. Sometimes I do that, but you probably could mount a fan on that to take air in, because side panel fans do take air in, rear take air out, top take air out, and front take air in. Yeah, that was a weird way to say it. So yeah, just a really basic case. If you could spend a little bit more to get something that looks, cooler or whatever, but really this is a great case for the money, and it comes with 2 fans, so that's why I went with it. Here we have the Sapphire Dual-X Radeon R7 265 2GB graphics card. So this is a great card, and to be honest, I've only bought Sapphire for my own cards, or for my own computers. So I have a Sapphire Radeon HD 7870 graphics card in my second computer, and then in my main computer I have a Sapphire Radeon or Sapphire R9 290X. Now I do plan on getting a new Sapphire card when AMD comes out with the Fury X series that they just announced. Those things are going to be awesome, and I want to get a Sapphire one of those too, because I really like Sapphire. Their coolers are fantastic. They're quiet, you never hear them, and they do the job. They keep it cold, and that is what you want. The stock overclock on them is fairly good, not the best, but really, the overclocks don't make a huge difference in my opinion. So here we go, 265. You'll be able to play any game, not on high settings or anything like that. But if you wanted to play, GTA 5 or Crysis 3, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Battlefield Hardline, BioShock Infinite, you name it, it'll play it. Just not on high settings at 1080p, but still you'll probably be able to get medium settings on GTA 5 and stuff like that. I mean, it's a great card, and you shouldn't have any problems with it, and it will do good for not just Minecraft, but any game. Last but not least, we have the Seasonic SS400 ET 400 watt 80 plus certified bronze power supply. So this is a $47 power supply, so it's not really all that expensive, but it is power efficient. That's what the 80 plus thing stands for, and we won't need any more than 400 watts for this build. Since it is a really basic build, you probably are going to be using about 320 to 350 watts at the very most, and this will output about 350, even though it says 400 with the 8 efficiency and stuff like that. It'll output exactly what we need, or at least close to it. You can always upgrade your power supply, and personally on my own computers, I always just go for a great power supply to begin with, so I always have that upgrade headroom that I want. So I would get like a 500 or 600, possibly even a 700 watt power supply, just so I have that headroom, because upgrading a power supply sucks. You know, you have to rewire everything, and that's the worst part, because wiring is just garbage. I hate wiring. But yeah, if, you know, for the money, and if you don't plan on upgrading anytime soon, anything that would draw any extra power at least, this is power supply will just get you by for now. But you know, if you do plan on upgrading a lot in the future, you could always just get, you know, a 500 watt, 600 watt power supply. Like I said, 500 watt would be fine, 550 even. You know, those would be great for having overclocking and upgrading headroom in this build. So here we go. That is the build. It ends up being $501, counting all the sales that are on here right now. So maybe you'll get lucky and something will be even, you know, less expensive. It'll be on a higher sale or better sale, whatever. And some stuff might not even be on sale anymore. Like this board is usually $70 and it is currently $50. You know, but currently that's what the prices are. So that is what I am showing in this video. And this is also another one that's been on sale for an extremely long time. So I don't plan on that one going up anytime soon, but you know, whatever. So tell me what you think. Do you want to see any more of these gaming PC builds? Do you want to see some that are less expensive, maybe the $300, $250 range, which would be extremely difficult to do, but I could pull it off? Or do you want to see some more, you know, $600, $700, maybe even $1,000 gaming PC builds, you know, directed towards playing Minecraft? Although once you get up to that price range, I would say that you know, anything will work. Anything you put in a $1,000 computer is going to play Minecraft just fine. But if you want to see that kind of stuff, just leave your comments down below. I will read over those and see what you guys think. Tell me what you also tell me what you think of this computer here. Are you going to plan on getting this and building it for yourself, or you know, do you not plan on it? You know, is it something you don't care about, or whatever? Leave your comments down below, and I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.